Why aquatic vegetation?
How is it important?
How does land use and land cover changes affects its condition?
And what are the processes involved for impact assessment?
I am Hazel Rose Intong.
I'm Ian Ray Galido.
So here's the outline of our presentation. First, we have introduction, methodology, result and discussion, conclusions, and recommendation. So aquatic vegetation is a natural component to a healthy and diverse aquatic ecosystem. It is also a key indicator of the environment because of its ability to improve water quality, and it can be used for the removal of heavy metals from the water. So in Tubay River, we found three different types of aquatic vegetation. The first one is the emergent, also called as wetland or shoreline plants. It is common along the margins of the rivers, and its habitat are both in sediment and in water. So second one is floating. These type of plants has leaves that floats along the water column, and sedges are grass-like, and they have the ability to grow in poor quality soil and is dominating plants in most wetlands. So aquatic vegetation, since aquatic vegetation is an essential component to a healthy and diverse aquatic ecosystem, and factors affecting its diversity, distribution, and chemical intake are direct human activities, and this is also caused by the changes in the land uses and land covers. So the main objective of this study is to assess the impact of the land use and land cover change to the aquatic vegetation in Tubagusan del Norte River using remote sensing and GIS-based applications. This is also, it specifically aims to generate land cover maps of years 2005, 2010, 2015, and 2020. Also to collect transit data to know the species distribution and diversity, and to create maps of the different types of aquatic vegetation present. And last one is to identify and quantify heavy metals absorption to each type of aquatic vegetation in the findings of this study is beneficial to the Environmental Management Bureau of the ENR and also to the Department of Agriculture.
Here is the methodological flowchart of our study. This study consists of three major activities. First, the land use and land cover changes by the year 2005, 2010, 2015, and 2020 to by Agusan del Norte. Second, the mapping of distribution of aquatic vegetation in the area. Third, the laboratory testing of aquatic vegetation. The first activity we consist of image processing. In image processing, we do radiometric correction, atmospheric correction, and gap fill for the noise in Landsat 7. And for image preparation, we do cloud digitizing and image mask shaping. For an ROI collection, for training collection and accuracy collection, accuracy assessment for maximum livelihood collection. Second major activity is mapping the distribution of aquatic vegetation. It consists of first the transit quadrant sampling, and we lay out two quadrant sampling for every sampling station. And we have 5 sampling station. Second is data recording. After the quadrant sampling, we do the data recording, and third is the pre-processing, and we do that in the Excel, and we for graphing, and the interpolation, we do that in the ArcGIS. Third major activities was the laboratory testing and aquatic vegetation. First is the collection of samples, and every sampling site we collect three types: the emergent type, the sages types, and the floating types. Preparation of samples. To prepare the samples, we dry the plants, and laboratory analysis. After drying the plants, we deliver the samples in Davao Analytical Laboratories in Davao City. Pre-processing. After the laboratory analysis, we do the pre-processing in Excel to do a graph. An interpolation, mapping the data that we collected in the laboratory analysis doing ArcGIS. We go to the result of first major activity. This is the table of accuracy assessment for land cover classification using maximum likelihood classification. The overall accuracy of the year 2005, 2010, 2015, and 2020 was acceptable. Land cover change into by using This is the graph of land cover change into by using maximum likelihood classification. The graph shown that the forest decrease through the years. Somehow the barren, the build-up, and the cropland increase through the years. And this is the graph per class in 2005, 2010, and 2015 and 2020.
So Shannon Diversity Index was capable of showing both species richness and evenness in that particular sampling site. So the higher the value of the diversity index, the more diverse that sampling site is. As shown in the figure, sampling site 5 had the highest Shannon Diversity Index and the lowest was sampling site 4. This is the graph of Shannon Diversity Index for all plant species found in Tubay River. So the most diverse plant species was Eternia crasseps, or also called as water hyacinth, which is because it was present in all our sampling sites. So those plant species having values of 0 are only found in one sampling site with only few individuals found. This is the map. This is the map of species diversity of aquatic. So this is the graph of the relative abundance of aquatic vegetation type in all sampling site in Tubay River. For emergent, sampling site 1 was the highest and sampling site 3 was the lowest. For floating, sampling site 2 was the highest and sampling site 4 was the lowest. So in sedges, the highest was sampling site 4 and the lowest was sampling site 1. For the total percent, the graph showed that sedges was the highest and emergent was the lowest. So this is the map of the spatial distribution of emergent, floating, and sedges aquatic vegetation in Tubay Agusan del Norte River.
This is the result of major activity 3. This is the table of the plant species used in aquatic plant types for laboratory testing. We have the same species for sampling site 2, sampling site 3 in emergent type. And in floating type, the all sampling site, we have the same species. And for the sedges, the sampling site 2, sampling site 3, the same species. And for sampling site 4, sampling site 5, the same species. This is the graph of nickel value per aquatic vegetation type in Tubay River. After the laboratory analysis in Davao City, this is the value that we acquired through laboratory testing. The graph showed the nickel value of emergent type in sampling site 4 had the highest value and the sampling site 1 had the lowest value. For floating, the sampling site 1 was the highest value and sampling site 5 was the lowest value. And for the sedges, sampling site 3 had had the highest value and sampling site 1 had the lowest value. The total value of every type, the graph showed that the emergent type had the highest value of nickel and the sedges type had the lowest value of the nickel in the area. This is the spatial distribution of nickel for emergent aquatic vegetation in Tubay River. For the emergent type and floating type and the sedges type.
Based on the results, the higher the nickel value of aquatic vegetation type, the lower the relative abundance. The researchers want to propose to consider using a spectrometer for spectral data acquisition. This is to get more data about plants, just like its structure, color, and other characteristics.
That's all. Thank you.